Leo, a young man full of dreams, stood on the balcony of his apartment, staring at the city lights below. For years, he had chased success, pushing himself harder every day. He wanted to be someone important, someone the world would recognize. But no matter how much he worked, the feeling of emptiness never left him. Mia, his best friend, could see it. She saw how Leo was slowly losing himself to his dreams. "Leo, you're overworking yourself," she said one day, trying to get him to slow down. But Leo was determined. "I'm close, Mia. Just one more step and everything will fall into place," he replied, his voice filled with hope and certainty. He knew what he was sacrificing: time with family, friends, and even his health. But the idea of achieving his dreams kept him going, pushing him forward with an unyielding drive. Little did he know, the price he was paying was much higher than he thought. Leo's hard work finally paid off. His startup idea caught the attention of a major investor, and suddenly, everything changed. Leo became the center of attention. His face was on magazine covers, his company's success was talked about on television, and he was invited to speak at business conferences. But despite the cheers and praise, something inside Leo didn't feel right. He smiled for the cameras, but there was a deep sense of emptiness he couldn't ignore. His to-do list kept growing, and every new achievement felt like it was just another step towards an even bigger goal. He couldn't stop to breathe, to enjoy the success he had fought for. Mia noticed his struggle, but Leo brushed it off. He was too focused on the next big thing to stop and think about the toll it was taking on him. As the weeks went by, Leo's health started to suffer. Sleepless nights became routine, and stress built up inside him. His friends started drifting away, and his relationship with Mia grew strained. She saw him slipping, becoming a person she hardly recognized anymore. One evening, Mia confronted him. "Leo, you're pushing everyone away. I'm scared for you," she said, her voice trembling with concern. But Leo, wrapped up in his ambition, brushed off her concerns. "This is what success demands, Mia. Sacrifices are part of the journey," he replied, his tone defensive yet distant. Deep down, though, Leo knew Mia was right. His dream had turned into a nightmare, and he was starting to question if it was all worth it. For the first time, he realized that success without balance could destroy everything he loved. Leo's world, which once seemed so solid, began to crack. His company, once thriving, started to fall apart. Investors pulled out, deals fell through, and bad press followed him wherever he went. Leo tried to keep everything together, reassuring his team that things would get better. But inside, he was struggling. Mia tried to help, but Leo couldn't hear her. He was too consumed by the constant pressure. He felt like he was sinking deeper with every step. The harder he tried to fight the collapse, the more everything around him seemed to fall apart. He started to realize that no matter how much he pushed, his dream was slipping further away. His empire, which he'd built with so much effort, was beginning to crumble. One evening, everything came crashing down. Leo stood in his office, looking at the empty desks where his employees once sat. His company was officially out of business. The weight of failure hit him like a ton of bricks. The walls that once showcased his successes now felt like a prison, closing in on him. The final blow came when his last investor pulled out, and Leo had no choice but to declare bankruptcy. His dream, the one he had worked so hard for, was nothing but ashes now. Mia found him sitting in the dark, staring at a blank screen on his laptop. He felt broken, lost, and alone. "It's over, Mia," he whispered, his voice full of defeat. I failed." But Mia, who had always believed in him, didn't show pity. Instead, she showed hope. "Maybe this isn't the end, Leo. Maybe it's just the beginning of something else." Days passed, and Leo shut himself off from the world. He replayed every decision he had made, questioning where he had gone wrong. But then, something unexpected happened. A letter arrived in his mailbox. It was from a young entrepreneur who had followed Leo's journey. The letter read, "You inspired me to chase my dream. Even when things didn't go as planned, your courage showed me that failure is just another step toward growth." Leo stared at the words, tears welling up in his eyes. For the first time in a long time, he felt a spark of hope. Maybe Mia was right, this story wasn't over yet. The letter was a reminder that his journey could still make a difference. And for the first time in months, Leo felt a small glimmer of light in his heart. Leo knew it was time to face his reality and rebuild not his business, but himself. He realized that success wasn't everything. Slowly, he began reconnecting with people, reaching out to old friends, and mending the relationships he had neglected. Mia stood by him every step of the way, reminding him that life was about balance. "It's not about how fast you rise, Leo," she said. "It's about how you rise after the fall." For the first time in a long while, Leo found joy in helping others without expecting anything in return. He started volunteering at a local entrepreneurship center, mentoring young dreamers who reminded him of himself. As he listened to their stories, he saw his own journey reflected in theirs. Leo realized that helping others wasn't just about business, it was about giving back and finding purpose in something bigger than himself. As the weeks passed, Leo slowly rediscovered his passion, not the frantic need for success, but a deeper, more meaningful drive. He learned to embrace the simple moments of lifetime with loved ones, quiet reflection, and helping others. An unexpected opportunity came when he was invited to speak at a tech conference, not as a flashy CEO, but as someone who had faced failure and learned from it. Leo was hesitant. "What if they judge me for my mistakes?" he asked Mia, doubt creeping into his mind. But Mia smiled and reassured him. "They won't. They'll admire your courage to keep going." For the first time, Leo realized that his story could inspire others, not because of his past success, but because of his ability to rise after failure. This new chapter in his life wasn't about chasing fame, it was about embracing authenticity and the strength that comes with resilience. At the tech conference, Leo stood on stage in front of hundreds of eager faces. His heart raced as he prepared to speak, but this time, he wasn't there to boast about his achievements. He was there to talk about failure, resilience, and the lessons he had learned along the way. "I was once obsessed with success," Leo began, his voice steady but full of emotion. "But I learned the hard way that ambition without balance is a dangerous thing. It can destroy everything you love if you let it." The audience was captivated by his honesty. Leo saw their expressions shift from curiosity to understanding. They were no longer just listening, they were connecting with his story. His vulnerability struck a chord with them in a way no amount of success ever could. For the first time, Leo understood that sharing his truth was far more powerful than any achievement he could have claimed. After the conference, something incredible happened. Messages flooded in from people across the globe, entrepreneurs, students, and even parents, all thanking Leo for sharing his story. His words had touched them deeply, and they saw him not as a failure, but as a symbol of resilience and hope. Leo realized that his true purpose wasn't to chase personal success, but to inspire others to pursue their dreams with balance, heart, and resilience. As he walked out of the venue with Mia by his side, the city lights glowed around them, and Leo felt a deep sense of peace. "This time, it feels right," Leo said, his voice calm and content. Mia smiled at him, her eyes filled with pride. "That's because it is," she replied. And for the first time in a long while, Leo knew she was right. He had found something greater than success, he had found himself. His journey had come full circle, and in that moment, he understood that his legacy wasn't about what he achieved, but about how he had helped others rise from their own struggles, just as he had.